Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take, a whole bunch of sources. It can be viral clips, research, interviews, and basically distill it all down into instant knowledge for you.
And today, wow, are we diving into something? Dance Moms. It's a show that definitely made waves, super controversial, sometimes really tough viewing, honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
But you can't deny it launched some massive careers. Huge names in entertainment came out of that show.
For sure. The impact that show had, it's kind of incredible. It goes way beyond when it was actually airing. You still see the pyramid thing on TikTok, right?
All the time.
Or those clips of Abby Lee Miller just yelling. It still clicks with people. It was this, crazy mix of really high-stakes competition drama, but also some seriously disciplined, really talented young dancers. Incredibly talented.
And that's really our mission today. We want to get past just the memeable moments, the viral clips, and look at the whole complicated picture. We're digging into sources, covering the whole run on Lifetime. Was it 2011 to 2019?
Yeah, 8 seasons, something like 224 episodes and specials. It was a marathon.
Exactly. And we're looking at the show itself, the off-camera stuff, the legal issues, and, the pretty amazing careers that somehow came out of it all.
So the basic setup, for anyone who maybe missed it somehow,
Yeah.
it followed the Abby Lee Dance Company, the ALDC, their junior elite competition team. These kids were young, like 6 to 13 typically.
Right. Started in Pittsburgh, then later, big move to Los Angeles. And the whole show was built around competitive dance, obviously, but also these incredibly intense rivalries between the moms.
Oh, the mom.
And, of course, the training under Abby Lee Miller,
Well,
which was unique, fierce, maybe.
that's one word for it, yeah.
And you really have to understand that mix the genuine talent, these amazing kids, combined with all that conflict, some of it maybe manufactured, some real, that's what made it such a phenomenon.
Absolutely. So to really get it, you have to start right there with the mess hits, the controversial stuff that really defined the ALDC.
Yeah, the approach.
And when you think dance moms, the first image has to be the pyramid, right? That weekly ritual, public ranking. What exactly was the pyramid? Why was it such a big deal?
Okay, the pyramid. It was basically the engine driving the drama each week. Every single episode, pretty much, started with Abby gathering the dancers and their moms.
Always tense.
Always.
Yeah.
And she'd review the last competition, the rehearsals, everything. And the girls' headshots, they were physically placed on this, big pyramid chart. Top spot for the winner, the best performer.
And the bottom, not so great.
Yeah, the bottom was for whoever Abby felt had messed up or hadn't tried hard enough. Or, and this is crucial, the ranking wasn't just about dancing skill. Not even close.
Right. It felt like it was about everything but sometimes.
Exactly. It was supposedly based on their solo performance, or how they did in the group dance, but also attitude, effort in class, and, like I said, the killer part, the mom's behavior.
Yeah, the mom factor.
Huge factor. A kid could land on the bottom, maybe even have her picture flipped upside down, totally humiliated, not because she danced badly, but because her mom got into a fight with Abby. Or another mom.
It was designed for conflict, wasn't it? Pitting everyone against each other, kids, moms.
Totally. Constant pressure, constant comparison. But here's the kicker, the really surprising thing we found in the sources. And it just screams reality TV manipulation.
What's that?
Abby Lee Miller herself confirmed it. The pyramid. It wasn't her idea at all.
No way.
Yes. She actually said the show's producers came up with that whole process. It was invented for the show.
Wow. Okay, that changes how you see it, doesn't it? It wasn't some quirky teaching method. It was produced drama.
Absolutely. It suggests the producers knew exactly what they were doing. They wanted conflict. They wanted sound bites. They were exploding the natural insecurities of these young dancers, setting up the tension for the whole week.
Makes perfect sense. But, okay, even if the structure was producer-driven, Miller did seem to have this intense professional focus, right? Her whole thing was preparing them to be, what was the phrase?
Professional, employable, working dancers. That was her line.
Right. So there was this undercurrent of serious training amidst the chaos.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
These girls weren't just showing up for filming. They were training constantly, traveling almost every week, sometimes driving hours and hours to competitions. The whole season structure was built around getting ready for nationals.
Winning nationals. That was the goal.
The ultimate goal. And the schedule was brutal, even before you add camera crews following your every move.
And that goal, that focus, it shifted pretty dramatically around season 5, didn't it, when they moved to LA?
Big shift. Huge. Suddenly, it wasn't just about dance competitions anymore. The whole focus expanded. They were prepping for acting auditions, music careers, basically trying to make it in Hollywood.
That's when it really felt like it moved beyond a dance show
Hmm.
into like a launching pad for multi-platform stardom.
Totally. But that pursuit of fame, the intense competition, that was still only half the story. The sources are really clear on this. The show's massive success wasn't just the dancing, it was the conflict. The fights between Abby and the moms, that's what kept people glued.
Yeah, the rivalries were key. And the biggest one, the ultimate rival for Abby, had to be Kathy Nesbitt-Stein, right? From the Candy Apples Dance Center.
Oh, Kathy and the CDC, yes, from Canton, Ohio. Abby called her the ultimate rival. And the Candy Apples were the main recurring opponent for, what, the first 5 seasons? And then they popped up again in season 7?
They were the perfect foil,
Uh,
always there to challenge the ALDC.
exactly. They provided that week-to-week dramatic tension.
Hmm.
But as the show got bigger, they brought in other rivals too, remember, to mix things up.
Yeah, like Studio Blue from Virginia.
Marietta Dance Project out in California.
And then later, in Season 8, Studio 19 Dance Complex, they needed fresh blood to keep the competition narrative going.
Which actually brings up a really interesting side discussion the fans were always having about the competitions themselves. Were they always legit?
Ah, the competition integrity question. Yeah, our sources mentioned Reddit threads, fan speculation.
Right. Especially during the peak years, like seasons 3 and 4, when the show was massive. The ALDC won so much, like almost every week. And people started wondering, were these wins maybe inflated?
And like, were producers or competition organizers giving them favorable treatment because they were reality TV stars?
That was the theory. And it gets even more interesting. Fans pointed out that around season 5, when Abby started having those serious legal problems, suddenly the wins started drying up.
Especially after the move to LA, where the competition scene was tougher, maybe less impressed by the cameras.
Exactly. So was the judging finally reflecting reality? Or was it somehow tied to Abby's declining public image? Or maybe just facing better dancers? It's impossible to know for sure.
It's all tangled up, the reality show and the actual competition results. But the big symbolic moment was that Nationals loss, wasn't it? Their first ever group loss at Nationals.
Huge moment. And it was to a revamped Ketty C team dancers who weren't even Kathy's originals. They were from Broadway Dance Academy, apparently.
That loss really punctured the whole myth of ALDC invincibility. It showed things were changing.
It was definitely a crack in the facade. It showed how much the TV show aspect might have been influencing the scores before. But, before everything started to fracture, that system, that intense environment, it really did launch some incredible careers.
Absolutely. You can criticize the methods, and we will, but you can't deny the talent that came through that studio, which is the perfect place to shift focus.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the dancers themselves, the originals, the minis, and that group that broke away, the irreplaceables.
Yeah, we have to start with that original core group, the ones who were there from the very beginning. And some of them started dancing unbelievably young, like 2 years old, 4 years old.
Maddie Ziegler, probably the most famous name to come out of it. Abby's clear favorite, right? Which was a constant source of drama.
Oh, definitely. The favoritism was intense, and Abby used it. Maddie was phenomenal, though. Lyrical, contemporary, tap. Started dancing at 4. She left during season 6.
And her big breakout moment, even while still on the show, was the Sia Chandelier video. She was only 11.
That video was massive, truly viral. It made her a global star overnight, completely separate from Dance Moms. And she'd already won awards, like the Dancer's Choice Award for Favorite Dancers 17 and under. Her trajectory was just meteoric.
Then you had Chloe Lukasiak, often set up as Maddie's main rival. Beautiful dancer, lyrical, contemporary ballet, started at age 2.
And that rivalry, again, mostly fueled by their moms, Christy and Melissa, that was the central soap opera of the early season.
It got so bad that Chloe actually left after the season 4 finale, didn't she? After a huge fight between Christy and Abby.
Yeah, the relationship totally broke down. But even after leaving that way, Chloe's talent shone through. She won the first ever Teen Choice Award for Choice Dancer in 2015. She clearly had her own massive fan base.
And Nia Fraser back then. She was amazing because she stayed through so much of it, one of the few originals to last right through season 7.
She really endured. Strong contemporary dancer, and she branched out into music too, remember? Star in Your Own Life, Slay.
Yeah. She showed incredible resilience, sticking it out through all that original drama.
And then there were the Highland sisters, Brooke and Paige. Brooke was the oldest original, great at acro and contemporary, also a singer. Paige focused on acro and jazz, did some modeling too.
And their mom, Kelly Highland, had history with Abby. She used to dance for her.
Right, which added another layer. Their exit was explosive mid-season 4 after that huge physical fight between Kelly and Abby. We'll definitely get into that more later.
Yeah, we have to. So as these original girls started getting older or leaving, Abby tried something new in season 6, right? The mini team.
Ah, yes, the minis. A whole new group, aged like 6 to 10. Abby's plan was basically to replicate the success, create a new generation of ALDC stars.
And some of those minis were incredibly talented too. Liliana Ketchman, or Lily. She joined the minis in season 6, then moved up to the elite team.
Yeah.
Started competing at 4.
And look at her now. Dancer, singer, actress, huge YouTuber. She really leveraged the platform.
Totally. And Eliana Walmsley, Ellie, another powerhouse from that mini group, started dancing at 18 months. Can you even imagine?
It's wild. And her post-show career is amazing too. Dancing with the Stars Juniors, the web series Chicken Girls. She launched her own beauty line.
Escapade Beauty, yeah. And she played Clara in the Radio City Christmas Spectacular. That's huge.
Seriously impressive. And there were other talented minis too, like Ariana Lopez, who started her own swimwear line, Couture Swimwear.
And Alexis Alati, she was named Mini Female Dancer of the Year at a big national competition in 2015.
Yeah.
So the talent scouting was still there.
Definitely. But the mini team itself, as a concept on the show, it kind of fizzled out fast. Disbanded in the season 7 premiere, basically. Only Lily and Ellie snuck around and moved up.
Yeah, it seemed like Abby couldn't quite recreate that original magic. Or maybe lightning doesn't strike twice in the same way.
And that difficulty, that instability, led directly to the next big shakeup, season 7B. Things got so bad that a bunch of the main dancers and their moms just walked out.
Nia, Chloe came back for a bit, Kendall, Kalani, Cameron Bridges.
Right. They left the ALDC together and formed their own team. And the name they chose, perfect. The Irreplaceables.
Such a direct shot at Abby, who always told them they were replaceable. Loved that.
Me too. They worked with Aisha Francis first, then brought in Cheryl Burke. Like, from Dancing with the Stars, Cheryl Burke is their main coach.
That must have felt like a huge moment of taking back control for those girls and moms.
Absolutely. And they even went on tour together later, the Irreplaceables tour. Although, important note, the Bridges and Fraser families weren't part of the tour. But still, it showed they could succeed outside the ALDC structure. Maybe even because they left.
Which brings us back to that environment they left.
Yeah.
The toxicity. We really need to drill down into those specific meltdowns and fights. Because they weren't just for show. Some had real-world consequences, legal ones even.
Yeah, this is where it gets really dark and uncomfortable. The Kelly Highland versus Abby relationship was like, Volatile doesn't even cover it. It exploded spectacularly more than once. The first big public one was that chair incident in season 2.
I remember that. Paige's prop chair was missing stoppers.
Right, and Abby, in a rage, apparently flung a chair near Paige. Kelly saw it as Abby punishing Paige, possibly endangering her. She completely lost it, flipped Abby off, stormed out.
And Kelly's side was that she'd been busy helping Abby with costumes all day, hadn't gotten to the stoppers, and felt Abby was just trying to provoke her. Right?
Yeah, she felt baited, and Abby's response was just nasty. Started yelling at Kelly about her weight, calling her fat, calling her a mean girl. It was ugly. And it showed the potential for things to get physical even then.
But it did get physical later, season 4, episode 7. That was the point of no return.
Totally. The argument just escalated and escalated during a rehearsal. Abby apparently charged at Kelly.
Kelly slapped Abby.
And then it was just hair pulling, scratching. Security had to break it up. It was shocking to watch.
And that wasn't just reality TV drama anymore. Abby filed a police report. Kelly Highland was arrested for assault in early 2014.
She pleaded not guilty, but yeah, an arrest. That's serious. And that was it for the Highlands. They were off the show for good after that. You can't really come back from physical violence in police reports.
Definitely not. And while that was the peak of the elite team violence, the mini-team era brought its own brand of intense conflict, especially between the moms. Yolanda Walmsley, Eliana's mom, Stacy Ketchman, Liliana's mom.
Oh God, Yolanda and Stacy, their rivalry was something else. Deeply personal, super volatile, and it involved that really serious accusation. The strangling incident.
Right. Stacy accused Yolanda of choking her in some prior off-camera fight.
Yolanda denied it completely, said she just pushed her back after Stacy called her a nasty name. But the way the show handled it was bizarre.
You mean Abby's courtroom?
Yes, Abby literally tried to stage a mock trial in the studio to put this strangling issue to rest. With Stacy as the plaintiff, Yolanda as the defendant, it was completely absurd, trying to turn a potentially serious incident into, like, a performance piece.
So wild. And of course, it didn't solve anything. The bad blood just kept going.
To the point where, later on, the coach who was working with the Irreplaceables apparently questioned if she could even keep coaching them because the moms fighting that division was just too much. It was hurting the kids.
And we can't talk Fuse without mentioning the original Tien, almost. Christy versus Melissa. The constant battle over Maddie's favoritism.
That was the bedrock conflict for years. Christy calling out Melissa, calling out Abby about how Maddie always got the best parts, the most attention.
And those fights were so public, often right in front of the kids. Remember that awful moment Christy was yelling at Melissa, Maddie started crying.
And Christy delivered that line, "How many times has my daughter beaten your daughter?" Just heartbreaking, because it laid bare how the mom's issues were being projected onto the kids.
Exactly. The kids were forced into this rivalry based on their mother's conflicts.
And the kids often paid the price directly for the mom's behavior. Like that time, Abby pulled the group number playing with matches right before a competition.
Why? Because the moms were fighting in the dressing room.
Yep. Instead of dealing with the adults, Abby punished the kids, denied them the chance to compete, potentially win, all because their mothers couldn't control themselves.
The injustice of that is just,
No.
wow. And the chaos wasn't just in the studio either, that New Orleans fight.
Oh, the brawl on Bourbon Street. Yeah, Krista knocked over Leslie's drink. Leslie fought back. A crew member actually had to step in.
And what happened then? Abby fired the moms?
Temporarily, yeah. Fired the moms, which meant firing their daughters too. It just shows how the show seemed to thrive on, even encourage this level of conflict. It was monetizing dysfunction.
Which leads us directly into the really tough part of this whole legacy. The specific, documented allegations against Abby Lee Miller herself. Abuse, discrimination. It's heavy stuff.
Yeah, segment 4 is crucial. We have to talk about the dark side. And the evidence of body shaming and verbal abuse is just overwhelming. It was constant.
It really was a core theme, sadly. And some of the examples are just brutal. Nia Frazier, she got so much of it.
It's hard to even repeat. Miller told her feet were flat and pathetic, criticized her weight gain, saying she could tell by the size of the thigh. Just awful.
And the comments about her hair, her box braids, calling them worms, saying they were weighing her down. It wasn't just criticism, it felt personal and culturally insensitive at best.
Absolutely. And Kendall Vertes got it too. Miller calling her and other dancers fat and lazy. Remember, the moms kept that tally.
Yeah, of negative comments. Kendall had, what, 11 marks in just one rehearsal?
Just relentless negativity. And Chloe Lukasiak being told to get her lazy eye fixed. That wasn't about dance. That was targeting a medical condition and insecurity. Just cruel.
It wasn't just the main girls either. New dancers walked into it. Ava Coda, being called a praying mantis because she was tall and thin.
It was systemic, and apparently it wasn't just for the cameras. A former mom, Diane Pent, alleged that Miller would actually post the girls' weights publicly in the studio.
Seriously.
And made them do ballet leaps holding sacks of potatoes. It sounds like something out of a Dickens novel. The goal seemed to be humiliation as motivation.
That's horrific. And beyond the verbal stuff, there were those really disturbing allegations about inappropriate, even sexualizing behavior, especially with the costumes and choreography.
Yes. This is deeply troubling. Several routines caused major public backlash for being wildly age inappropriate. That season 2 dance, Electricity.
I remember that one. The choreography was very suggestive, right? Gyrating, sultry faces on kids as young as 8.
It crossed a line for a lot of viewers, went from dance into something uncomfortable, sexualizing.
But the topless showgirls routine was even worse, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Season 2 again. They put the girls in these sequin, skin-colored bra tops and tights. The effect was meant to look like they were nude, basically. Topless showgirls.
On children.
On young girls. The criticism was so intense, so widespread, that Lifetime eventually pulled the episode entirely. From reruns, from streaming, gone. Which tells you how serious the network thought it was.
That they acknowledged it crossed a major ethical line. And the inappropriate behavior wasn't just in the dances. There were allegations about personal interactions, too.
Yeah, Reagan Check, who danced there before the show, said Miller once bought her and her 10-year-old teammates Santa-themed G-string underwear for Christmas.
What? No, that's incredibly inappropriate.
Holly Frazier apparently handed the gift right back to Abby, knew it was wrong. And even on camera, boundaries were blurred. Miller demonstrating a stage kiss by actually kissing 11-year-old Maddie on the lips during a rehearsal.
Oof. And there were those off-screen allegations, too, about a graphic joke Miller supposedly made towards a minor dancer.
Yeah, during season 4 or 5 filming, allegedly, it all paints a picture of a really problematic environment where boundaries were constantly being pushed or ignored.
And eventually, these patterns of behavior, combined with accusations of racism and classism, led to real professional consequences for Miller.
Right. In June 2020, after Blackout Tuesday, Lifetime made a definitive move. They cut ties with her, canceled her planned spin-off, Abby's Virtual Dance-Off. Done!
And that seemed largely triggered by specific allegations coming out around that time.
Exactly. Adriana Smith, who was Cameron's mom in season 8, shared a really damning story. She alleged Miller told her, "I know you grew up in the hood with only a box of 8 crayons, but I grew up in the country club with a box of 64 Don't Be Stupid."
Wow, that's just overtly racist and classist.
And Smith also claimed Miller told her they were only cast for a sprinkle of color. Just blatant tokenism.
Camille Bridges, Cameron's mom from season 7, echoed that feeling of discriminatory treatment, right? Saying Miller treated Cameron differently because she was black.
Yeah, accused Miller of trying to portray Cameron as the poor one on scholarship, making the whole experience traumatic for them.
And this fits that pattern we saw with Nia Frazier, too, always being typecast.
Constantly. Nia was so often given solos or parts in group dances themed around ethnic characters or black historical figures. It limited her range, reinforced stereotypes, instead of letting her explore the same breadth of roles as the white dancers.
So you put it all together, the verbal abuse, the body shaming, the inappropriate choreography, the alleged racism and classism. It's a really disturbing picture, and it's essential context for understanding the fame these girls achieve.
Absolutely. You have to hold both things in your mind, the talent and success, and the environment they endured to get there. Which brings us perfectly to our last segment, Life After the Dance Floor. What happened next?
Yeah, it's a story of legal drama, health scares, incredible resilience, and surprisingly diverse career paths for the ALDC alumni.
And you have to start with Abby Lee Miller's own journey after and even during the show's later years. It got incredibly turbulent. The legal trouble hit hard.
Indicted in 2015, right? Federal charges.
Yeah.
Bankruptcy fraud was the big one.
Yeah, basically accused of hiding money she earned from the show. Over $755,000, the indictment said, income from Dance Moms, the spinoffs. She allegedly didn't declare it during her bankruptcy proceedings.
And there was that other charge, too, about Australian currency.
Right. Illegally bringing in about $120,000 worth of Australian dollars without reporting it. Apparently, that's what first tipped off the authorities that something was fishy with her finances.
She pleaded guilty in 2016, and the sentence was prison.
1 year and a day in federal prison, which she started serving in July 2017, ended up being paroled after about 8.5 months. Still, going from reality TV icon to inmate number. That was a huge fall from grace.
But the challenges just kept coming for her, right after getting out of prison. A major health crisis.
Yeah, April 2018, diagnosed with Burkitt lymphoma. It's a really rare, aggressive type of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. She needed emergency surgery.
And that resulted in paralysis, didn't it? At least temporarily.
Yes, devastating. But she's been very public about her fight. She was declared cancer-free in remission by May 2019. And while she still uses a wheelchair, she talks a lot about her physical therapy, aiming to walk short distances again. She's definitely a fighter.
And she hasn't exactly faded away professionally either. She sold the Pittsburgh studio.
January 2023. End of an era there.
But she's still teaching online masterclasses, judging competitions internationally, like the Dance World Cup in Spain.
And she's fully embraced that villain persona the show gave her. Starred in House of Villains in 2023, launched her own podcast, Leave It on the Dance Floor, where she spills all the behind-the-scenes tea.
And another reality show, Madhouse. So she's still very much in the media game, leveraging that infamy.
Definitely. Now, contrast that with the dancers. Many of them seem to have actively tried to put distance between themselves and the ALDC experience. Maddie and Mackenzie Ziegler, for instance.
They left in season 6.
Yeah.
And they've been pretty clear why. They call the environment toxic.
Maddie, especially. She said point blank she hasn't spoken to Abby since leaving. But look at their careers now. Both huge successes. Acting Maddie and West Side Story, that's massive. Mackenzie in music. Maddie's written books. They've built major careers completely on their own terms.
But then you have the big exception, JoJo Siwa.
JoJo's relationship with Abby is totally different. She publicly says they have a great relationship built on respect. It's fascinatingly unique among the core cast.
And JoJo's career path has been wild, too. From child star with the bows to major LGBTQ plus icon and entertainer.
Incredible transformation. Though even there, Abby couldn't resist a controversial comment, remarking on JoJo coming out by saying it meant more hot young men for her, which was awkward.
Yikes. Okay. What about some of the others? Chloe Lukasiak.
Chloe went the academic route, attending Pepperdine University. She also wrote a book, Girl on Point, about her experiences. Seems focused on building a life beyond just the show.
Kalani Hilliker. She stayed in the dance and performance world, right?
Yeah, judging and choreographing for Miss Teen USA. And she developed her own brand, a sock line called Pretty Feet by Kalani Hilliker. Entrepreneurial spirit there.
And Ava Michelle Coda, the dancer Abby made fun of for being tall.
Talk about having the last laugh. Ava starred in Netflix's Tall Girl movies. Huge hits. Found major success in acting, turning something she was criticized for into a defining feature of her stardom. It's a great story.
It really is. So the legacy got revisited officially with the reunion special recently. Dance Moms. The reunion, May 1st, 2024.
Yep.
A lot of the originals came back. The Highlands, Chloe and Christy, Kendall and Jill, Kalani and Kira, JoJo. It was a big gathering.
But the absences were just as loud, weren't they? Maddie, Mackenzie, and Nia didn't participate.
Very controversial. And the cast members who did attend weren't shy about expressing their opinions on it.
JoJo Siwa was particularly vocal, wasn't she? Basically accusing them of trying to erase their past.
Yeah, she said something like it was an attempt to pretend it never happened, shove it down the drain. Implied they were ungrateful for the platform the show gave them. Strong words.
But Nia Sue had a really simple, powerful response to why she wasn't there.
She did. Posted on TikTok, just said, the reason is quite simple. I just didn't want to do it. And then added, that's a good enough answer. That's a good enough reason. Just asserting her choice, her boundaries, after years of maybe not having that agency on the show.
Good for her. And of course, the moms are still finding ways to keep the drama going. Christy Lukasiak launched her own show, Dance Moms. Epic showdowns, right around the reunion. The rivalries live on. So, okay, wrapping this all up after our deep dive. It's clear Dance Moms has this incredibly complicated legacy.
For sure. You had undeniable high-level dance talent, real dedication, real artistry.
But it was completely tangled up with manufactured drama, really questionable, sometimes outright abusive, behavior from the coach, and intense pressure from the reality TV machine.
The price these young girls paid for fame was huge. Public humiliation, emotional stress, constant scrutiny, documented abuse in some cases.
And yet, look at the outcomes. Maddie, JoJo, Chloe, Ava, and Nia. So many went on to achieve significant, long-lasting success in entertainment and beyond. They became stars, entrepreneurs, respected artists.
Which leaves us with a really difficult question, doesn't it? This tension.
Yeah. Does the fact that so many of them became so successful somehow challenge the idea that toxic environments are always destructive? Or does it maybe reinforce that really cynical view that sometimes enduring that kind of pressure cooker is what it takes to reach the top?
And maybe the bigger question for you, listening to all this, should that success, however great, ever justify the methods used to achieve it? Does the end justify the means when the means involve what these kids went through?
It definitely makes you think about the real cost of fame, especially reality TV fame for young performers. A lot to chew on there.